Let's return now to the flooding situation in Far North Queensland in the wake of ex-tropical cyclone Jasper. I'm joined now by Bruce Belcher, who's the owner of Daintree River Cruises. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. Can you talk us through what the past week has been like and what the situation's like there now?
Okay, thanks, Matt. The past week has been quite ordinary. Obviously very hot and humid, dark, wet, muddy, trees, vegetation all over the place. We've had external assistance just recently, in the last couple of days. We've had power out for 9 days. The record flood level, we're on a 2-storey house, but the underneath was 60 centimetres above our concrete. Our 2 cars were okay, but most of our appliances downstairs had shorted out. We've had a lot of help from people locally who've dropped what they've had to do to come and give us a lot of help, which is just excellent. It's amazing what people can do under these circumstances. Everybody's in very good spirits. We looked a bit like running out of food. That came good. Woolies and Coles have managed to fix all that up. Just to answer your question correctly, how have we fared and what we've had to put up with, I think I've wrapped it up pretty well there. No injuries, just damage to our property. We have a little bridge crosses our creek adjacent to the house. A large tree about 1.5 metres in diameter fell across that, so a new bridge coming up there. But otherwise, everybody's in good spirits and dealing with it as best we can. Back to you, Matt.
We're just looking now at the moment at some pics, some vision from inside your house, Bruce. It just looks remarkable how high that water level has risen there. I know you said that your cars were okay, but other things had been damaged. Have you ever seen the water level rise this high before?
No, Matt, never this high. It's about 1 metre higher here down near the river mouth than a record flood many years ago. We've had several, including the 96 flood, that came up to a point about 1 metre below what it is. So we became a bit laid back and carefree about it, not expecting anything like this. But it came up several days ago, 5 o'clock in the morning. We were woken from friends, and yeah, it was about 1 metre higher than the last time. So very surprised and caught unawares. Back to you, Matt.
I guess the most important thing, Bruce, is as you pointed out before, no injuries and even more importantly, no loss of life. But what are you expecting as far as a damage bill goes, and how long do you think it's going to take for you to recover from this? Okay,
look, we expect to recover probably in the next week or so, but it won't be from our location here at home. We'll be going down to the public facilities, which will be open by then. We'll be doing basic tours, like from bus groups, but our backbone of our work comes from the self-drive market. They won't be able to come through our property here until we've fixed the bridge up. I can't remember the other part of that question, but it'll probably be another week or so before we can start doing our tour groups. But people coming through privately, not for several weeks yet.
We heard the Prime Minister speak today. He's announced some assistance for tourism operators. He also gave the message for people to still come to Far North Queensland. You're saying you're still going to be a couple of weeks away from being able to operate as you normally would. But, I mean, what is your message to people about coming to Far North Queensland right now?
What is my message to people coming to Far North Queensland? The main interest in our tour, of course, as wildlife presenters, is a chance to see crocodiles. They will have that opportunity. The crocodiles will be cold, as the water is cold, so sightings will be good. What else can I tell people? Come with an open mind. You might be surprised at the extent of the damage along the river. it will be most obvious. Trees down, trees ripped out. Some of our favourite big trees have gone. What else to expect? Difficulty in getting from Cairns to Port Douglas to Daintree, as at this point the road is impassable. But I can just say, come with an open mind, enjoy what you see, don't expect too much except a lot of visual damage or damage visually, if I can put it like that.
Well, you talk about those crocodiles. I mean, as someone who lives in Darwin, I can tell you they're pretty remarkable to see up close. Have you had any close encounters with them over the past few days as that water level has risen, Bruce?
Look, there's an old myth that if you're flooded, crocodiles will venture further. I believe it's a myth. We live on the banks of the river here. I've never seen a crocodile near my property. I doubt that it happens, and when the flood does recede, everything gets back to normal. The crocs are back where they normally hang out. So I tend to think it's more mythical, although in flat areas like the Northern Territory, it's probably more likely, but I've not known of anything like that happening here. Crocodiles tend to stay where they've come from.
You mentioned before people pitching in to help one another out. I mean, how impressed have you been with the community spirit and how everyone has got behind one another during the past week or so?
One of the local lads lives down the road, Gary, his house went under, or at least the base of his house went under. Now, he's been remarkable. He's dropped everything, and he's led a group and used the rural fire brigade truck with water, and he's helped everybody else out except himself. So that just tells you a little bit of a story about the strength of people under these circumstances. And I can congratulate him for it. It's wonderful.
Well, that certainly has been wonderful to see. It is a great community up there in Far North Queensland. I really appreciate your time today, Bruce. Hopefully you can still have something of a decent Christmas, even though it's going to be a pretty wet one.
Thank you, Matt, and cheers to everybody in Australia. Hope to see you all up here soon. Thank you very much.